Hey, welcome. Hey, welcome to today's video. Today we're doing another video R&D, character R&D. It's been a while. Today we're doing a character I just recently got done drawing. Theia. She has a full name, but this is Theia the Elf from Saint Saga Volume 3. And unlike the other ones, I've just started drawing her, so she doesn't have a lot of extra stuff to go, a lot of extra different versions of her. So we're just going to start with the first prototype. Now the first prototype of Theia is based off of High Elf Archer, who is based off of Shion from SAL. So I don't mind making characters that are based off each other. A lot of people do it, and I like Theia from Goblin Slayer a lot. She's, I don't know, something about her I just really like. But so as you can see, we have a lot of influence. I did try to kind of make the clothes a little different, but my first initial step with the clothes didn't quite match the style I was originally going with the first elves I drew. Even now with the second version, it's still not quite it. But starting up here at the top here, I'm using my new big clicker with the red point here to help point stuff out here. Definitely in the front here, or not the front, definitely up top here. Her hair is still a little too much like High Elf Archer's. So that's a bit of a problem. I gave her a little sour look here, but it doesn't have the back. High Elf Archer has like a longer hair in the back, but overall, just so far, it's still a little too much like High Elf Archer, so not quite having enough unique character traits. But some of the initial designs here I took from High Elf's uniform, but I have my own designs too. But how I describe Theia, she has green hair, green eyes. That's how most elves in her regions have. But she's supposed to be wearing kind of like a leotard, and this waistcloth kind of acts as her skirt. So she didn't have these puffy shoulder pieces. I just wanted to try and draw these puffy shoulder pieces to try and get. I kind of wanted to try and get better at drawing them. And I tried to make her the area in her chest here a little more intricate, and then have like the belt under the breast here. I'm not sure what you'd call that. Just kind of the strap run across beneath her chest here. But overall, it wasn't really. I won't say it failed, but weirdly, she kind of almost had too many clothes on for how I have the elves depicted here. Like these long legging boots. I kind of wanted to give them a try, see how they worked, but they weren't really a design I had used in the story yet. I was just kind of messing around, trying to do something new with them. But the big thing here is this kind of wrap, these leather wraps around her waist here. That's more in line with what my designs are. But overall, I thought she turned out cute. But once again, it's a little too close to a High Elf Archer. So we're going to move on to prototype 2 here. Prototype 2, I took a little bit of, I changed up her hair a bit more, trying to differentiate her, give her a little more unique characteristics. Had her smiling too, and I guess when I was messing with the settings, her eyes kind of turned a little more jade. No, they're still green. They're a little more jade, I guess now. But the top of the hair stays pretty similar. I gave her a longer bang going on her face here. I wanted to give her like a bob cut, I guess, is what I was aiming for originally. But I think I was using Haribara from Conan as a reference for the hair in the bottom here, and it gives her a little more of a, I don't know if it's a leafy pattern that I was going for, but it gives her a little more unique look at least. Also did the shading here, so her complexion's a little lighter. Her chest here gets a little simplified compared to before. I don't give her a boob window. Let's see, Theia. Let's see, she's about 114, 115. She's supposed to be around the same age as the main protagonist of the series, Hazel. She's supposed to be the alpha equivalent of that. So she's like 100 and a few decades old. Is always. I do like the lighter complexion I gave her. Over here I just didn't shade her, so those are just flat colors. But I did like to have her hair have this granulative color, so like, you know, so it's a little darker on the ends, but gets lighter towards the top of her head. But one of the big things I did is I removed the puffy sleeves on the end because they were a little too much for a character that's supposed to be out in the woods. So I wanted her to be a little more minimalistic. So I removed the sleeves, and then I kept these long leather gloves. I didn't exactly like these. I didn't exactly like the gold color on here too, but she has like, I gave her these kind of ornate leaves on her shoulders, or not her shoulders, about where her elbows are, where the clasps are. And this stuff is just, you know, basically wrist guards for her bow. So if the bowstring hits it, it's not going to hit her arm as badly. So I like that there's a good function there. Over here I had the sleeve and glove pattern. Here I just made the sleeves and gloves one. I didn't change the skirt design at all. Yeah. Here, I guess here I gave her a little bit of like a metal chest piece. I think I was just practicing there. I don't think she'd really have that in this. Yeah, I just did that to kind of practice, to kind of try to design, because I use this to design a lot of this triangular chest piece for a lot of the female characters I draw. They have this triangle chest piece, and the idea is it's actually supposed to be like flight armor, because a lot of characters can fly in my story. So they want armor that will kind of let them make more aerodynamic moves. So they'll usually be covered from around the neck to shoulder to about here. So it actually leaves a spot here exposed, but then they'd have like kind of a belly armor. But here Theia's kind of wearing more of a leather tunic, and the leather wraps are just kind of more of a style design for me. So it looks like she has a bunch of belt buckles coming down, a bunch of belts coming out her wrist, and you can see that as like just an extra layers of armor and stuff. I kind of covered it up here. I forgot to make the version that didn't have the skirt, I guess. But here I gave her a little different leggings than her sisters. Let's see. Now I forgot where I got these boots from. I was trying to model her boots off of Thorn's boots a little bit more, but have them be a little more structured, because Thorn's boots, just from a story reason, they'd be a little older style, just because how long she's been wearing them and when they were introduced. Here I wanted Theia's boots to be a little more in tune, I guess, or a little updated, because she's from a younger generation, so she'd wear just a slightly different variations of what the elves usually wear. So obviously if they discovered newer boots, Theia would wear them. I did try to base the style off of what Thorn already had, and I might upgrade her boots to these. So she has kind of these flaps at the top here. They kind of wrap and buckle. Yeah, she has like these straps here. I guess you can say like the boots maybe pull apart. I guess I should have changed the design a little bit. I should have maybe had it so this was here a little bit more, and this was over here. That way it looks like the boot kind of pulls open. But whatever. And then I just kind of put these straps on here just to kind of give a little more texture, make them look a little more interesting. Let's see. Yeah, she's got these leggings here, I guess. They're different from Thorn's. Thorn's is the same as up here, where they're kind of like leather wraps. Here, Theia has like more of a pull-on style with clasps. But yeah, so overall, I really liked how Theia turned out. You know, the first prototype, I definitely had an idea what she wanted to look like. A lot of the elves I'm writing about and drawing, a lot of them are originally, they're kind of a mix of Tolkien's elves, so the mature ones are taller, but then a lot of the designs are kind of taken from Hia from Goblin Slayer, so they're kind of a mix of two. You know, if Theia was 1,000 years old, she'd get a lot taller. But overall, I like the design. I think she looks cute. She's supposed to represent the teenage version of the nymph, or well, technically she'd be a newborn for an elf. I think I've explained this before. I'm gonna try not to ramble on too long here, but the elves in my story, they're basically born from, their real bodies are trees. The trees absorb material by making this wooden doll that walks out and kind of tricks people to come to the tree. And the tree basically eats humans, animals, takes all that extra material and kind of crunches them together and creates a new body. And so for 100 years, Theia's tree is mission matching all these parts together and creates a new elf body. And then it kind of like creates like an avatar for the tree to control. So the tree, so this version of Theia that you see here, this version of her could be killed, but as long as her tree is still alive, she can always create a new body. But it's very resource intensive, so it's not like she'd just spawn another one right away. She'd have to gather all the resources, and that's for every nymph elf in the story. That's just kind of a lore trait I made. But sorry, I need to take a breath here. I'm not used to talking this much. Yeah, so yeah, she makes her first appearance in volume 3. I don't remember the chapter, but I think it's 2 or 3, I guess. Definitely after chapter 2. I think it's 3. But her part of the story is she interacts with Hazel's whole hometown when she's gone, and her and Hazel have never met. But she meets Hazel's parents, so I won't go into the whole storyline I'm planning with that. But she's supposed to be the elf version of Hazel, I guess, is if you look at my story at all. But yeah, so that's Theia. I really liked it. Well, High Elf Archer's name isn't Hia, but I just like it a much. I wanted a character similar name. I could have called her Hia, but I'm going to call her Theia because there's another name I'd like to use Hia for. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied with how the design turned out. I'm probably going to do 1 or 2 more refinements, but at this stage, the prototype 2 is definitely a good start. Prototype 1, I'm glad I didn't take the time to shade it because this design will probably be abandoned. I feel like there's a little too much gold in her design right now. I wanted to have her like I want to reduce the gold to maybe just these smaller ornate pieces because the elves aren't very industrious in my story, so they'd use a lot more natural armors, I guess, unless they trade for stuff. So I definitely feel like this stuff here, these pieces of jewelry on her arms, they're gonna stay. The buckles might get changed to a different color. This armor chest piece here, that's kind of just there. That's probably going to get removed. I might replace these buckles and just have her body be wrapped. I just wanted to do something a little different there. And then her leggings, I think I might change her leggings in the future to be more like Thorns, but I got to draw a few more elf characters and get a feel for how I want them to look and style. But basically, they like to wear Latoris, which are just my versions of leotards, and then they usually wear waistcloths, and that's just a style they stole from another faction in the group. So before they just wore leaves and stuff, so anyways, yeah, you can check out my book Saint Saga the Black Beast on Amazon. I got a website. I'm going to try and have all that linked below. But yeah, have a good Thanksgiving because that's when I'm recording this. And I'll see you all later. All right. Bye.